Okay. Okay. You are able to hear me? Hello. Sound is okay? No? Hello. Oh, okay. Let me try to improve if I can, or otherwise I'll do without that. Okay. Is it better now? Oh, okay. 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 So I am grateful for this opportunity to express, and I especially thank Dr. Meenakshi Chauveji, Dr. Vijay Dubey, Niharika ji, and everyone. So our topic today is spiritual management technology. I will begin with one of the poem I used to, we were singing when I was studying in Mathura. So I'll begin with that. That is in Sanskrit, and then we will mostly it will be English or maybe some Bangla, some Hindi. यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुते स्तुनवन्ति दिव्यै स्तवैर्वेदै साङ्ग पदक्रमोपनिषदैर्गायन्ति यं सामगा ध्यानावस्थित तद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनो यशान्तं न विदुः सुरासुरगणा देवाय तस्मै नमः. So this is, although as a student I was not knowing, but this is the vision of the cosmic controller, and every one of us can acquire that vision and acquire that status. Now I will begin with one of my poem, and that is when we just have a glance over, say, this universe of ours, or say this planet or these countries, then how do we suppose if somebody is coming from planet Mars or anywhere, how he will look at this. So this is one of the example. Like I was working in paper mills, so when we are in paper mills, we see there is a lot of raw materials, and the paper finished product, that is very less, and all around there are so many other things, as implied in the name paper mills. We see very little paper, and that also is produced and shipped immediately. So we don't see the paper. The same thing applies in the universe. We see a lot of raw materials, raw elements, raw beings, including plants, animals, humans, and then when we see them, there is a lot of a lot of things, a lot of improvements to be done. They are all raw, and they have to be converted to finished product. So you can see this song in that perspective. When an alien arrives at our planet and looks at our paper mills, he may wonder, why do we really call them paper mills? They look like waste paper mills full of raw materials. Finished products get quickly shipped out of mills. There is less finished paper, more raw materials and packing materials. It has machines processing materials with humans operating machines. It is not easy to see supervisors, managers, chief executives and clients. Directors may only be coming for a few hours a day or once in years. In our cosmos, similarly, we may have more raw elements and consciousness, more of in process and processing infrastructure, and less of evolved conscience. Every in process microatom may be under the multiple development process. Every entity may be ever evolving through multidimensional cycles of creations. The management plans, organizes and observes, it evaluates, reviews and directs, it incorporates, employs and appraises, it communicates, coordinates and controls, sprouting silently in subtlety. Supreme consciousness may manage cosmos. It may rarely be realized amidst management of Madhu projects and equipments. So this was the vision. If somebody comes from outside, what he is going to see. And now we begin with our actual discourse. So spiritual management technology, it has to do with the spirit or consciousness, and then the management and the technology. So we'll elaborate it step by step. It is said in Anand Sutram given by Sri Sri Prabhat Ranjan Sarkar, Anand Murthy ji, that Shiva Shaktyatmakam Brahma Shakti Sa Shivasya Shakti. So basically Brahma means that which is great and which can make anyone great. So that entity is basically he is we call him Shiva, and the operative part of that is Shakti. And so Shiva and Shakti, they go together, they are one and the same thing. And as we go there, as we go into that, understanding it, and then whatever Shakti, whatever power, whatever energy here in this universe is, that is of Shiva. Shiva means somebody who is really great, who is good, and who is all comprehensive. Now let's try to understand what is spirit. It is basically the reflection of consciousness, and when it gets more and more reflected, expressed, then we are trying to become one with that consciousness. Now ultimately we find in this cosmos that there are two things, microcosm and macrocosm. So basically the purpose of microcosm is to become macrocosm. And this is what also the vision and the view of the supreme consciousness, that every entity, every particle, every the animal, every plant, every human beings, they finally become as great as he himself, and they become the cosmic directors. So that way his task becomes easy. Then everybody is doing what he desires, and then he can take up other activities, other more subtle jobs. Now essentially, now this has to begin with the integration of our unit consciousness to cosmic consciousness. Now the process by which we do this is called meditation. So basically initiation is important, diksha. And once we get initiated, once we know what is the really art, science and the process of integrating, then it's very easy. And that comes with the grace of Guru. Guru means that entity who is sort of Tarak Brahma. He is a tangential entity which is within this within this cosmos, and he is also out of the cosmos. Rather, let's say Srishti Chakra. This is what we call Srishti Chakra, creation, cycle of creation. So he is on the periphery at any tangential point of the creation, and he is also out of the tangential point. So the entity which is out of that, it is called Nirguna Brahma, that which doesn't have any characteristics. And the one who has characteristics, we call it the Saguna Brahma. So he has gunas, and the Nirguna Brahma, he can occupy the form of Saguna Brahma whenever he likes, and he can have a cycle of creation. Cycle of creation is like a factory or an institution or an organization by which he, he sorts of takes different forms. He processes, he evolves the people, and then again those entities get merged into his own state. But that state of his after merging is much better, like an engineer, when he comes out of the college, then he has infinite degree of freedom. He can do a lot of things. He can do job, he can do business, he can teach, he can do whatever. But once he takes up a job or any activity, then he gets bound by in that environment, and then he goes deep. So similarly, in this cycle of creation in brief, I will touch a little bit because we have lots of things to talk today. So in this process of cycle of creation, so basically that Saguna Brahma, he because he has some objectives, some sort of projects. So that's why he acquires some characteristics. So those characteristics are they are called Sat Raj Tam, Prakriti basically, and it consists of Sat Raj Tam, sentient, mutative, and the static properties, and they all remain in balance in triangle. As soon as this balance in the triangle is disturbed, then the cycle of creation, we call it Sanchar. So Sanchar means the extrovert cycle of creation. That part starts. It's like elliptical. So the cycle starts, and then we get Mahat Aham Chitta. So Mahat means in that state we feel we exist, I exist. So I am the only one, whole creation, there is nothing else. And that is a very great feeling. And so he is Mahat. That means all comprehensive, everything, there is no duality, nothing. Now in the second stage, when he gets further divided or a little bit crudified, or you can say more practical, then he gets a feeling of, there are two feelings, Aham and Mahat. Aham means I also, I do feeling. So instead of, in addition to I exist, there is a feeling of I do, and then when it further goes for, beyond that, then the chitta is created. So chitta is done I, which is moving more than speed of light. I mean, speed of light is maximum, which scientists can view at this time. But chitta has a speed much more than, many times more than the speed of light. So, and then when it further goes, then we have Panch Tattvas, five fundamental elements: aerial, ethereal, aerial, fire, that is luminous, and then the liquid, and then we have solid. And when there is a clash, internal and external clash, centripetal, centrifugal forces, they work, and then we the same chit which was inbuilt in the matter or elements, that creates prana. And created, an entity is created, and that entity is vegetables or plants. When they get further evolved, then we get evolved, and with the class and everything, so then we get animals, and then in the same process we get man, and then we get intellectual man, then we get intuitional man, and finally that intuitional male again has a lot of mahat, and its aham is reduced, chitta is reduced, so that he again merges in the Saguna Brahma. So this is cycle of creation. And in this process, when the animals or the humans, when they have the Aham Tattva, I do state more than Chitta, then they have intellect. And when, with the intellect, when their Mahat is more than Aham, then we get Bodhi or intuitional. So intuitional, once we come intuitional, then intellectuality is a very lower status, and we can get the things done very easily in a very subtle way, in a very fast way. and we can control more of entities with the intuitional practice or intuitional caliber, and then again we are going more and more subtle. So this is what is basically the cycle of creation, and we pass through this is like a coordinates. We understand what we are, and once we understand, then we know what is our goal, what all capacity potential we have, and then accordingly we can grow more and more. Okay, now I'll give you an example of say we are working in an organization. So when a human being enters an organization, then basically this you can compare with the cosmos and the jiva, or the unit consciousness. So basically when we enter, when we want to enter an organization, it may be an industry, it may be an educational organization, or anything, or a country, or a planet. So in that state, what we do is that we come, say we enter the gate on the invitation as after getting interview, and then we are right from the gate, we are even before gate, we may be in the control of the supreme management. So then we go and meet the personal manager, he interviews, and then he puts us in the factory or organization. So in that, when we enter, then there are three things. We have certain knowledge, so that we can call gyan, the existing gyan, and then we have to improve it always. So we have some gyan, and then we do some karma, the work we do, and then we develop some devotion, that is called bhakti. Bhakti means the devotion towards the supreme consciousness. So basically now the employer, basically he tries to they do performance appraisal. So in performance appraisal, these are the three basic things, the gyan, karma, and bhakti. So they evaluate this, and based on that they evolve you, they give you promotion. So once we are in a better, subtler stages, then we get promoted to management or supervisory or managerial capacity. So what is this management basically? This is in the spiritual world, this we call yoga. Yoga means integration basically from unit entity to cosmic consciousness. So we are evaluated on that in that respect, that how good you are in yoga integration. And then when you are more evolved, then they see what is the speed of yoga, what is the technology of yoga. So that is basically tantra. So tantra means technology of yoga, technology of integration, how fast we can integrate. Say in one moment we can try to control the whole country or whole planet or whole organization just by focusing on the chakras or the plexus of human beings. And so basically now once somebody is in that level, then we promote him as a general manager. So general manager means he is having spiritual management technology. So he is good in so many respects. So the director, cosmic director, he gives you the general management of the cosmos. And once he feels you are good in that, then gradually he wants to give you that factory or that organization, and he wants to take up some other organizations, or he wants to focus wherever there are weaknesses or where there are some good things. He doesn't want to involve in routine all the time because he is busy with management. So basically that is what is called a spiritual management technology. This is applied yoga, and highly subtle state, and in that state we are managing the whole cosmos. So this way you can try to understand in a little practical way what this really spiritual management technology is. And every one of us can acquire that status, and we can try to manage the cosmos or the world around us in whatever status we are. Okay, then another three things I like to convey is there are three things: time, place, person. Desh, Kal, Patra. Now they are basically the three fundamental factors by which we are sort of controlling events. It's like event management, cosmic event management. So if we are able to control time, then we can control place and persons. If we can control any of these, then we can control other two. So basically, like if we go one day and we go and we meet an accident, or positive or accident, positive or negative, whatever, and then why it happens is because we started at a particular time, we met at a particular place, and we met that particular person. Now if we can change any of these factor, if we could start little later, or we could not be at that place, then that event will not happen. So basically, to improve or to change the events, the only thing we have to do is just we have to change one of these parameters: time, place, person, Desh, Kal, Patra, and then we can manage our world. Now once we are within these three parameters, we are unit entity. We are like the jivas. And once we are able to have control over these three things, then we are supreme consciousness. We are one with the supreme consciousness. So the difference in consciousness and supreme consciousness is basically that supreme consciousness has command or control over time, place, person, Desh, Kal, Patra. It can operate them, it can do anything with them, it can play with them. And basically the purpose is to evolve, to grow, and to take them to a higher dimension. Now I'll compare when you become the when you are a general management, like you are having a spiritual management technology expertise, so then you are given the control of the organization, or the whichever organization, cosmic or general or planetary or geographical or social or whatever. Now once you get that, then if he wants to give you the reign or the control of that organization, then all your feelings that like I exist, Mahat Tattva, that also gets basically you surrender it to the cosmic director. So that state, in simple words, is called Savikalp Samadhi. Like we are having feelings, so our Aham and Chitta is gone, and we only have Mahat, that only this organization is mine, or I am running this. So that stage is Savikalp Samadhi, and when we go even beyond that, when we don't have even Mahat Tattva, then we become Nirguna Brahma, or it's like a managing director who only sometimes comes and leaves the things to executive director. So that way, so it's like Savikalp Samadhi and Nirvikalp Samadhi. So we acquire these stages, and by acquiring these stages, it doesn't mean we have gone out of the world. We are very much in control, as much as we need, or whatever is the requirement. So otherwise, it is being managed automatically, and then you don't have to bother. You have to simply remotely see what is happening, and then you can be okay with that. Now, to go for how to connect spiritually in initiation, basically we have to go through some shuddhis, or the purifying techniques. So once we do that, then we are able to enter into those domains. How there are basically three shuddhis when we go into that. So first is Bhuta Shuddhi. Bhut means the Panch Bhutas, the five fundamental elements. So we go out of those factors, like they don't affect us. So we are in the world, but at the same time, at that time, we are going out of the control of those bhutas, Panch Bhutas. Everything is Panch Bhut. In fact, whatever universe you see, the Akash, ethereal factor, and everything, they are more, and the human beings may be very little, but they are too much. But essentially, all that is within the scope of Chitta, our Chitta, Aham and Mahat. So although they are very large, but they are being controlled by Chitta. Just like an elephant, elephant may be very big, but somebody is sitting on the top of him, a human being, and that is like a Chitta, and elephant is like a Akash or Panchbhuta. So basically, that small thing, any entity, cosmic consciousness, that may be subtle. People may be feeling that even he doesn't exist. But actually he is the master. He is controlling everything, and nobody is able to see him because he is busy. He has so many things to do, and he doesn't have to exhibit. He doesn't have to show. He doesn't have to even express. Those who are in managerial levels, cosmic managerial levels, they are able to understand him, and they operate with him. They interact with him, and not everybody is required to meet the managing director. So basically, the whole everything is managed, and yet the managing director is hardly seen. Like in India, say Tata or somebody, they may be coming maybe in a few years in a factory. They don't have time. They don't need to do. They are all connected. There is communication. There is a tantra. There is a technology. There is a yoga. So they are basically managing the organization that way. Okay, I think there's not so much time left. So basically now with all this, I will just try to summarize. This cosmos, it's a vast, still whatever you see, the lighting things, stars, galaxies and all this, they are also very little part, although they are very great. But there is a black hole which is 5 times more than whatever we see, shining things. So, and that black hole is controlling everything. So similarly, that black hole may be consciousness, basically. You can think like that, you can understand like that. And that is controlling the whole of visible world. Another thing I like to touch is with all this, then we have to improve our socio-economic things in the world. We have to evolve every entity, every beings, even animals and plants. We have to serve them. We cannot live without them. The plants are there, that's why we are there. Animals are there, that's why we are there. And we are all comprehensively or integrated, stuff, integrated sort of, environment and consciousness in everybody that is helping every one of us. And the director, cosmic director, he cannot work without everyone's cooperation. He is director because there are the employees. If the employees jivas are not there, then he will not be there. So that way we have to and then we have to evolve a neo-humanism, the new humanism, which is able to manage, which is able to integrate all these 5 fundamental 5 elements, all living beings and everything, so that every thing can be made to work in a very harmonious way, and then the living here and the management here becomes very easy. And then we can have some philosophies or the socio-economic policies like Prout, progressive utilization theory. We can have neo-humanism, as I said, and then we need to have Prama. Prama means it is basically balance, first on physical level, then on the psychic level, and then on the spiritual level. And all these triangles of Prama, they should be balanced at individual level as well as on the universal level. So that way, the whole world will be a nice place to live. So with this, I will like to conclude with one of my recent poems. Okay. Okay. सतरज आतम ही ताल दिए प्रकृति कृति किए वे मत अहम चित बने ब्राह्मी मन हुए वे ही बने हैं पंचभूत नभ पवन अग्नि जल पृथ्वी बने वे ही रहे चराचर विचर संघर्ष करो वे ही प्रकटे प्राण धरिणी हर हिरणी हृदय से हिरणमय को बनाए सुहृद, हर उर को सुर में वे ही लिए बुद्धि बोध दे, वे समर्पित थे स्वत किए समाधि लिए, वे सगुण के भी गुण थे बने सृष्टि घुमाए, जब विरक्ति में मधु थे आए निर्गुण वाए. So now we are just concluding, and I will recite few slokas and then we go from there. So अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं, तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः. अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः. गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरे, गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः. तव द्रव्यं जगद्गुरु तुभ्यमेव समर्पये. ॐ मधुवातारिताय ते मधुक्षरन्तु सिन्धुवे, माधुर्यो सन्तोषधि मधुनक्तमुतु शशो मधुमत्पार्थिवं रजे. मधुमानो वनस्पति मधुमानोऽस्तु सूर्यो, माध्वीर्गावो भवन्तु ने. ॐ मधु ॐ मधु ॐ मधु. सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिने सर्वे सन्तु निरामया, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखमाप्नुयात्. ॐ शान्ति ॐ शान्ति ॐ शान्ति. Okay, so we conclude here. Okay, Niharika ji. Yeah.
Sir, we have some questions from the participant side.
Okay.
May I ask you?
Yeah. I am free if I don't have any problem of time, but it is up to you. Yeah.
The question is from Lakshmi Agnihotri ma'am. क्या
Yeah.
आत्मा से बात करना संभव है?
आप ही आत्मा है, आप ही परमात्मा है. आप हर समय वो आपसे संपर्क में रहते हैं और आप उनसे बात नहीं कर पाते. तो बेसिकली टू connect with the conscious supreme consciousness, just you have to simply become supreme consciousness. You have to be one with him. You have to know how to integrate. So that's the meditation is the way by which you can integrate from your status to the supreme consciousness, and then you are one with him, with the him or her, whatever you call. And in that state you can do whatever. In fact, you have to do what he has to do. This is what he wants. So you all the time you can talk. In fact, as soon as you start interacting with him, there is no gap. All the communications are open. Okay.
The next question is
Yeah.
from Satin Gadpale sir. What is soul? What happened it after death? It said that moves out of body after death and again finds new. How?
Okay. So basically now the death is simply we happen to die as soon as the physico-psychic parallelism that is disturbed. So basically if we have some problem and we are not able to connect our physical body and mind, and then we happen to have a departition, and that is it's a sort of transfer from this body to another body, and that way, basically it's nothing, it's just a transfer in the spiritual world. Because say I will give you a little example, like we have a dog, pet dog. So gradually, while living with the human beings, he evolves like a man, and suppose he becomes so intelligent, so great, that he wants to act like a man, then the physical psychic parallelism is disturbed, and that dog may die, and he may take a form of man. And similarly, suppose there is a man, and he is living with a dog, for example, and there is a crudification. So it may so happen that the man becomes crudified with the dog, and maybe then the man has to take he has to leave this body, he has to take another body and come as a dog. So basically it depends what is the status, what is the situation of the consciousness in that entity, and accordingly there is a transformation. So that is just the death. And death is something very interesting. In fact, when we are into spiritual world, you are able to control your death. You can go whenever you like, it is up to you. And your health and everything, they are all being regulated. You can't get sick, even in COVID and all that. Once you control your intake, input, your food, if you take sentient food, you do some proper yam nyam ashtanga yoga rajadhiraja, you are able to have control on your breathings. And once you control your mind, then death is in your hand. So you can live as long as you like, nothing is going to affect you. And if you want to go, if you want to do some higher things, like if you have become too aged and you want to change your body, then you are free to change your body, and then you can come again. That's why sometimes you find very young child and he is having all potentialities. He knows much more than even the elder ones, because he has his last reactive that we call sanskar. So they have the reactive momenta. So because of that, everything is carried over. We have prarabdha. Prarabdha means the reactive momenta of the past life, and of this life, that is called, we call sanskar. So basically, depending on that, we can always go on improving and go on changing, and we can we can control everything. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
So the next question is from Dr. Jayanti Lal sir.
Yeah.
बात नहीं हो सकती तो अनुभूति कैसे हो सकती है?
ये तो आपका लिमिटेशन, हाँ, मैं हिंदी में जवाब दे दूँ। ये आपकी सीमा है कि आप बात नहीं कर पा रहे, तो एक्चुअली कॉस्मिक कॉन्शियसनेस की तरफ से, परमात्मा की तरफ से कोई रुकावट नहीं है। रुकावट है तो आप जैसे छाता लेके, बारिश हो रही है लेकिन आपने छाता लगाया हुआ तो धूप नहीं आ रही है या बारिश नहीं आ रही है, तो इसी तरह से वो कम्युनिकेशन हो रहा है, बट हम लोग उसको रिसीव नहीं कर पा रहे, उसमें बोटलनेक्स हैं, हिंड्रेंसेज हैं, तो वी हैव टू रिमूव दोज हिंड्रेंसेज. सो वी हैव टू evolve our mind so that it can connect with the consciousness, supreme consciousness. So once, and that is always flowing, the whole cosmos is it's all the time, rather he very much wants to talk to you, and he wants to connect you, he wants to give you everything. You are not able to take it, like a father, he wants to give everything, but the child is not able to take it within his limitations. Director of any organization, he wants to make you a general manager, he wants to give you everything, but you are not able to evolve. In the same way, the cosmic director, supreme consciousness, wants to give you everything. He wants to give his whole of cosmos to you. He wants to give all his planets, galaxies to you. You are not able to take it. That's your problem. So only thing is, you start connecting the way, there is a proper way, meditation, yoga, you have to go through those stages, and you will be connected and you will be one with him. And then later maybe people will say, oh, he's little different person, because to him this existing word becomes like a pagal khana, and to this word he becomes a pagal, but actually he is in a subtle word. So basically, like the employees may be calling general manager a fool, the students may be calling a teacher he is little different. They may be thinking principal is little odd, but he is in the highest stage of management. He is the one who is controlling, he is the one who is directing, who is managing the whole show. So basically we have to connect with him. Once we connect, then we find, no, he is very sensible, he is very great, he is very great, he is very nice. Yeah. Next, yeah.
Yes, so the next question is asked by Dr. Amal Singh, sir.
Yeah.
Spirituality is need of the hour, and country India is the land of spiritual saints. How can we strengthen ourselves in the present scenario with our spiritual inclination?
Yeah, it is very much required. All the problems, in fact, are because of the lack of this integration. Because we are not able to connect. We are only we are only thinking of ourselves. We are self-centered. We are not sort of evolving or integrating or sort of trying to work together in harmony with other people, with other everybody, because everything is same. Now the problem with us is, especially in India, although we are a land of spirituality, but we are evolving. So what is happening is, in this evolution we are becoming little crude. As we develop, sometimes we become crude. It's required. Like when a child is evolving, earlier he is very good, but in the later stage he becomes little nutcut, naughty. So in the same way the human beings are evolving, and as they got more facilities, previously there were less facilities. So as we are having more facilities, we are becoming a little more naughty. We are trying to utilize them, but with that we are growing, and we will become more and more mature. And as we become mature, we will respect others. And this way, and the only way to integrate really in a easiest way is to do meditation. So simply just take initiation from somebody who is in that state, and if you are taking initiation, that entity can just grace you with the same vibration, with the same bliss he is having, and then you can get that bliss momentarily. So, and then you have to practice, then he can't, even if he wants to give you everything, he cannot give, you cannot take it. So it has to be stage by stage. So you start with the first lesson, then there are further lessons in the meditation, and then you are in the same plane, in the same dimension as the supreme entity, and then you just enjoy, and the world becomes play. You can operate anybody, you can operate any human beings. At the moment you think whatever good, then the other person also receives it. All the classes are because there are differences. Because we are crude, so we think other person is also crude. That's why we are not able to interact. We think bad of him, and he also thinks bad of us, and that way there is a cycle of all these things. But once we start thinking good, and once we think that everything is one, and if I hit somebody, if I pinch somebody, I am also going to get pinched in the same way, then you will not pinch, then you will just love, and you will respect, and then you will only work. You will have lots of you can do your meditation maybe in 5 minutes, or in the beginning maybe you take more time. First it is less, then it's more, then again you can reduce, and then later on the evolved stage you can just sit for 5 minutes, and you can be in a much subtle stage. And then later on in the developed stages, we just meditate for others. We may meditate for a person, we may meditate for a country, we may meditate for a planet, or we meditate for the whole cosmos. So this is what the job of that managing director, the Nirguna Brahma, is. He may not be before you, but he is doing everything for you. Like he is creating a project, for you, and he has made you busy in doing some things, and in the meanwhile he is doing something much greater for you. So this is the way it works, and this is what very much required for India. And because in a crudified stage we are not able to help each other. We are just we become a little more self-centered. So we have to become oriented towards the whole of the country, or whole of, not only country, whole of the world, whole of the cosmos. Because even if you think of a place, it's a narrow feeling. If you think of a family, then we integrate gradually. We think of a district, we think of a state, we think of a country, we think of the whole planet, and like that. So unless you think of the whole cosmos, your mind will not be fully broadened, and you will be doing some mistake or the other in that self-centered way. So there is no alternative, but you have to become the cosmic master. and that will only give you bliss and the pleasure. And it's so easy. It's more difficult to get a teacher's job or a principal's job or a director's job in a factory. It is more easy to become the cosmic director. He is ready to give you everything, you are not able to take it. Even to Amar Singh Ji, suppose I know him personally, I indicated, we don't force anybody. I indicated you can go something, but they are busy in their own words. So we cannot, we just indicate, and we are here like a father, he will say to son, okay, learn something, but he is not going to force, because whenever the right time comes, he will come. Maybe through difficulties or maybe through the bliss, or whenever he is free, then that is the right time. And he is in no hurry. You have to be in hurry. He is always free. He is free for every entity of his,
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
The next question is from Satyendra, sir. Can soul move out of body while in samadhi and visit to our desired places?
Say it again. Can soul move to in samadhi? Please repeat.
And visit to our desired places.
Yeah, basically, all these questions are because we are not, focusing on, we are not concentrating, or we are not doing meditation. Once we do meditation, then all these things will be automatically dissolved. They will be solved. You will have answer for all this. So basically, what is happening is, once you connect with the cosmic consciousness, then there is nothing like all your physical, mental problems and situations, they get eased out, and you can do whatever you like. You can be a unit consciousness, and at the same time you can be cosmic consciousness. It is up to you. So you can depend upon the situation. Like for a director, he can be in his office, he can be out of his office, he may be dealing with the clients, or he may be coming on the shop floor and he may be seeing how a lathe worker or how a production worker is operating a machine. So, and then, like he may be taking a round of the factory, like he may be visiting the cosmos, the world. At the same time, he may be just sitting in an office at other times, and from there he is just writing an office order, and that is being implemented. He is doing some transfers or, the terminations or recruitments. So that way he is managing the whole, environment. And, once you are in that stage, then just about the souls, it's just nothing, it's just plaything. You can interact with any other soul. You can take yourself into the that Nirguna Brahma stage. You can take to Saguna Brahma stage, whatever is required, as per the system, as per the need of the cosmos, of the whole system. You do that. Actually, in fact, at that stage, you don't have any job to do. Only job is as per the requirement of that organization. Like if you hear, you are a managing director, and if you hear that there is a fire in a factory, maybe you may not even go. You may just tell some people, okay, you manage it. But if need be, if it is really serious, he can just rush. And if everything is going fine, he doesn't bother. Or when there is a really lot of development, everybody is doing very fine, he may just go and thank everybody and say you are doing wonderful. So it depends on, whatever is the need. He is free. His degree of freedom is infinite. He doesn't have any, sort of problems. Like suppose I am sitting in Canada, and suppose physically everything is over now. If we are able to have flights which can reach in say moments, now it takes about 16 hours from Toronto to Delhi. Now, if we develop, facilities by which we can immediately go, then we can be, I can take my breakfast in India and I can sleep in Canada. That will happen. And even if physically it is not happening, spiritually we can always do. I may be here and I may be spiritually, I may be in India, anywhere with anybody. So, mentally, spiritually you can be anywhere, and physically you can be anywhere. Now I am more in India. Maybe I am interacting less with Canada. I just go for a walk around, and that's my right now my job. I don't work. Earlier I used to work at airport. Now I am not going there, but I am just busy at my place. And physically you may be at one place, and mentally, spiritually you may be everywhere. You can interact with anybody with these, even the current facilities we have. So we can talk to anybody whenever you like. We can just pick up phone or WhatsApp or whatever, and you are talking to everybody. So where is the distance? There is no distance. Now those who don't have these equipments, those who don't have these facilities, those who are handicapped in some way, they can't connect. So similarly, you can't connect to Supreme Consciousness because you don't have those technology. So if you have that technology of meditation, and after doing meditation, it's only beginning. Once you do meditation, once you are deep, it's a plaything. You can be at any moment, anywhere. You don't have to do even meditation. When you are in evolved stage, the director, he doesn't do all those things which the employees do. To him, everything is subtle, very subtle. He can do it very fast without any. In fact, the time, place, person, they become zero in that stage. I was also in the night, actually, when I was thinking of this subject, one more thought came to me, like time, place, persons, So basically, once you are in that state of cosmic consciousness, then time, place, person, they are in your lap. You can operate any person, you can operate time, you can operate any place, you can do anything anywhere. You can just give a little wave and the changes will start happening. So it's so subtle, it's so easy. In fact, to do the things physically, it is more difficult. To do mentally, it's more easy. To do spiritually, it is even extremely easy. So just take that technology. Spirituality is a technology. Okay, I think Amar Singh ji may be happy with this. Next one, yeah.
Yes, sir. So the last question is,
Yeah.
आत्मा और स्वप्न का संबंध क्या है? क्या आत्मा स्वप्न द्वारा मार्गदर्शन करती है?
स्वप्न बेसिकली हमारा जो हम फिजिकल स्टेज में थोड़ा डोरमेंट स्टेज में चले जाते हैं, माइंड हमारा एक्टिव रहता है. तो माइंड एक्टिव रहता है तो उस स्टेज में हम लोग एक्चुअली सोते हुए भी एक तरह से बिजी रहते हैं साइकिक वर्ल्ड में, और उसको रेस्ट भी मिलता है. एंड एक्चुअली स्वप्न में ही हम जो कुछ देर के लिए जो गाढ़ी नींद आती है, जिसको बोलते हैं कि कुछ होश नहीं रहा, दैट मे बी फॉर फ्यू मोमेंट्स, दैट इज द रियल स्लीप. Maybe 8 hours you sleep, that may not be really so, that may be just to make a background or just to create an environment, but actual sleep may be for few minutes. So basically we are interacting in psychically we are more active, physically we are taking rest, and you can connect with the consciousness also a little bit. And so in you can have some idea, like if you are deep into all these things, spirituality, then even in dream you can have so many relations. Even in dreams, sometimes if you're a poet, like I compose lots of poems, I never thought I may be a poet, and different languages and all that. I've stopped counting now, it's over 7,000. So basically then it's a plaything, like you think and the poem is composed. And there are some poets who take 1 month or 1 year to make a poem. And there may be, the spiritual poets who can just compose in a few minutes. Just they think, only time taken is in writing. Otherwise, the thoughts are coming. So basically, it's all easy to go to those stages. So in the dreams also, we can have you can even compose poems in dreams. Only thing is you can't write. And if you just wake up, you can just maybe write some poems. There are some people who do that. And in the same way, you can have very great, sort of experiences, relations in sleep also. And then, so what you call Paramatma and Atma and all that. In fact, when you are in those meditational phases, then all this little difference which we see in the physical stage, that doesn't stay. So basically, you become the Supreme Consciousness, and there's no harm. Like, sometimes all these our sometimes priests, they create a mentality that God is something very great and you can't achieve it, because they want to remain a medium. There's no need of any medium. Actually, you and he are same thing. You are the same stuff. So just connect, and you don't need the middleman later on. Even the Acharya who initiates, he just for a connection. and later on you are as great as him, Supreme. And you can be a acharya, like you are a teacher. First you were taught by somebody, and then later you can also teach, and then you can become principal. You can go beyond that. So basically it depends on your stage. Once you practice, when you try, it is all very easy. And there are different stages of meditation. Okay, I think that will clear the things. So initially, say we do some shuddhis, we take out ourselves out of those panchbhutas, and then we get over the through asanas. We do that's called asana shuddhi. First one was bhoot shuddhi. Bhoot means panchbhut, nothing to do with that bhoot. They are not there really. They are just negative things which people have their minds. Actually, they don't exist. Once you become positive minded, they will run away from you. They can't even think of. It's all negative, So now, when you evolve out of those stages, then you have to do further shuddhi. That is called chitta shuddhi. Even that chitta, the stuff, mind stuff, which keeps on making you move or think about say India or this place or that place or this cosmos or that cosmos. Even that you have to control. So once you control the chitta, there is a process for that. So once you control that, then you merge it in the consciousness. So that is the first lesson actually. Second lesson is that the first lesson gives you a sort of ego that you are great. You are like Brahma. Brahma means that which is great. Now that feeling is also have to be removed, because that will give you superiority complex. So we have to be away from all complexes. Sadhana is basically to remove complexes. Now the second stage is that in that we have a concept, we have a mantra, and the feeling of that mantra is that not only me but the whole cosmos is Brahma. Everything is cosmic, conscious, supreme consciousness. Now in third stage, this is like more of a Kundali Jagaran. So basically we focus on every chakra, plexus of ours, and then we chant some mantras, and by that we evolve, we update, or we can say we make those chakras very active. So like Manipur chakra, for example, if you are meditating, maybe your all problems of stomach will go. Maybe if you are taking 5 rotis, you can take 10 rotis. But you have that capacity. Now you cannot take 10 because you are not able to. But in that stage you have the capacity, but you will not do that. You will just again become normal. But the hindrances will go. Similarly, all the diseases of the heart, if you focus on the heart chakra, then they will go. Like you can remove the heart attacks, you can remove the asthma and all this. When I was 35 years old, I was a chronic patient of asthma. I was working in a paper mill where there were a lot of chemicals and all that. And after having some treatments, after going deep into sadhana, after being very focused, very strict on the food, even like I have stopped taking tea, coffee, cold drinks, piyaz, lasan, lal mirach, everything since 1984. So you purify your body, and then that body is able to evolve more and more, because even the piyaz lesson, they are like meat, almost like meat for a person who is doing meditation. It's a poison. So it depends on the what is your requirement. So that was the we activate all the chakras in third lesson. Fourth lesson is pranayam. So in pranayam we are trying to control through breathing, because breathing is what makes you you are living. If the breath is there, you are here. So if you improve that, if you do it in a right way, then you can control the all activities within the body. Say I will just give you a little idea. You can just think. I think what about the time? I am okay, but if you are enjoying, we can continue. So basically, what is happening when you breathe in? You can just have this ideation that you are breathing. The whole cosmos is coming to you, and it's coming, and it's entering your heart chakra, for example, and then it is going, and then it is moving throughout whole of your body, all glands, nerves, plexus, everything, all koshas, and then I can talk for hours. So it goes through all that, and it purifies everything, it touches everything. So in your mind you can think the whole supreme consciousness came from all over the galaxies and beyond galaxies, and it entered your body, and then it inspected or visited every part of you, and then it is going back, and then again it's coming through this nostril, nostril, and then like that. So basically you can, this is really the real pranayam. And in that, while doing that, you may just go into samadhi. Just by when you are in that stage, you may even forget whether you are breathing or not breathing. So this was the fourth lesson. I'm just briefing. This is a technique. I'm not telling the techniques that we have to tell personally. I'm just giving you a general idea, very general idea. Now in the fifth lesson, we may focus on every chakra, 5 chakras, Muladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipur, Anahat, and Vishuddha. And then, we may clean those chakras. We may, give an feeling, give a mantra that every point is cosmic consciousness. So they also become great. Not only you, your every part, your every chakra, your every gland, everything is supreme consciousness. So once you have that, they will all get purified. All blockages will go. No heartaches can touch you. No asthma problem will come to you. No COVID can dare to touch you. Okay, so it is like that. And so this is what all was purification. In the last stage, we call it sixth lesson. So in the sixth lesson, we focus on the there is a pineal gland that we call Sahasrara chakra, and Sahasrara chakra has two sort of just like Shiva and Shakti. So it has two sort of things, that the part of pineal gland which connects with the supreme consciousness, that is Sahasrara chakra. The part of the supreme consciousness which interacts with our body or our existence is the Guru chakra. We call it Guru chakra. So just like a managing director, when he is interacting with the whole outside world, say for marketing or whatever, other directors, then that is Sahasrara chakra. And when he is dealing with his own organization, company or the school or college or whatever, then that is Guru chakra. So those are two, essentially they are same, but just one side is like Shiva, another side is like Shakti. So in that stage, that chakra, then we simply see our Guru. At that stage, Guru is coming. So we just merge in him. So that way, we just merge. There is a system, there is a process. So we merge with him for some time. So we are one with him, and then we come back, and we are still in the world. And even while being in the world, we may be in that stage. So later on it becomes plaything. You can be here, you can be there, you can be anywhere, and you can be in anybody's body, mind, and you may be living or interacting with anybody's pineal gland. And once you love a little bit of that pineal gland, that person starts loving you. He is not even in touch with you, but he may start loving you. He may be in a very blissful state, and that way it's very easy to manage. Okay, so it's interesting.
Yes, sir. Very interesting session.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for giving your valuable talk. I'm sure your address will help a lot in understanding the technologies related to spiritual management. Thank you so much.
Yeah, very nice. And those who want to go deep, they can talk to me personally. So we can always interact, and it's very easy.
Yes.
Okay, Namaskar. Thank you so much. Thank you, Meenakshi ji. You are silent, but you are very active. I know you are spiritually very active. Yeah.
Vote of thanks.
Okay, Namaskar.
Okay. It's a matter of pleasure for me to propose vote of thanks on behalf of JH Government Lead College Batul after the successful completion of the 4th day of our 6-day online international faculty development program. First of all, my heartfelt thanks go to Honorable Shri Gopal Baghel, President Spiritual Management Foundation, Toronto, Ontario, Canada, for gracing the program with his presence. Sir, we are really thankful to you for giving a very enlightening talk on spiritual management technology and answering the questions of the participants in a great way. Now let me express my heartfelt gratitude to esteemed guest speaker, Dr. Smita Ray, for a wonderful session on strategies for behavioral excellence. I would like to thank the principal of our college, Dr. Vijita Chaubey, for her support. I would also like to thank Dr. Amar Singh, Dr. Lakshmi Agnihotri, Dr. Satyendra Garpale sir for actively participating in our program. My thanks are due to the participants who asked questions and made this session very interactive and fruitful. I would also like to thank other participants who joined this program of ours. I would also like to thank all the members of our organizing team, publicity team, technical team, the program moderator, Dr. Niharika Bhavsar, all the professors of English department, as well as the office staff of our college for the efforts they are putting in to make this program successful. Tomorrow we shall meet at 12 noon with new enthusiasm. Now with the permission of the chair, I declare that today's program of ours is over. Have a wonderful day ahead. Thank you. Professor Pankaj, please end the Zoom meeting.
So that's fine.